I'll run it over. Blessed greetings. Give thanks, everyone. I know no one's on here now because it's early. I'm doing this really early today. And I'm coming early because I have a lot to do. And I wanted to get started, at an early time. So, plus, today is the Maskal. So, blessed, happy Ethiopian Maskal to everyone out there. Oh my goodness. And to my mom for her birthing day today. She birthed me. So I'm thankful for her. And I have my hot tea. And I'm thankful for my son. He was a gift today on the 27th of September. I gave birth to him on this day. So when I look at that, it is very significant to me because, and then he's grown. He's a grown, man now, and he's not a baby anymore. So I am thankful that I get to see this day. This is the day that righteousness has made. We're going to rejoice in this day and give thanks for this day as we come together. I looked at I have my hot tea and it has these little phrases. We all want to be understood. We all want to be understood, to be acknowledged, to be loved. So we all want that. And when that's the case, we need to be able to give that. We have to understand people, we have to acknowledge people, and we have to love people. And what does that mean when we talk about those things? When we talk about understanding, we're talking about the basic need to stand for something, standing firm, right? Stand firm. And in that, we have safety, and that's the psalm today, Psalm 91. Beautiful psalm. Oh my goodness. That psalm is the most beautiful psalm I have read besides Psalm 121, Psalm 23, Psalm 27. Just beautiful. The inspiration of the word from that higher source and using individuals as vessels is really pretty cool. So I'm thankful that I could be able to share in that and to know that, that genuine love that's not found any place but in our hearts and inside us. And once our heart is happy, it's strong and pumping and it's not stressed, it's happy, it's secure, and it has a fortress. And that fortress is, keeping it, safe. So I know it's early where I am. It's 4:30 where I am in the rise. So we are at the Ethiopian Maskal. We celebrated the Ethiopian New Year, September 11th. That was awesome. My resolution was about balance and that harmonic pattern, bringing that to wherever I go. So I love the fact that I can have a birthday today. And I was shopping yesterday and I said, today's my birthday. today's my birthday, guess how old I am? And I asked, this man to guess how old I am. And he guessed 45. Greetings, William. Blessed greetings. We're going to be kind with kind words. Thank you so much. So he guessed 45. And 45 is my dad's number. That's my dad's year, 45. 545. And take the 4, you put the 5s together, that's me. And I said to the person when they said, you're 45, I said, 10 years, add 10 years to that. Add 10 years to that. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the day, to turn this day. I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of what is right, and that the protection as I journey in my day is filled with an abundance of goodness. I receive it in advance. I give thanks in advance, actually, for the abundance of goodness that is to be received. I'm thankful. So let's look at the Psalm today. And the Psalm today is 91, as I mentioned. Psalm 91. So Psalm 91 is 16 verses. Okay, 16 verses. So Psalm 91 is titled My Safety and My Fortress. My Safety and My Fortress. That is the title of Psalm 91. So Psalm 91 begins, I that dwell in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will speak to the Most High, my safety, my fortress, my God in whom I trust. That's verse 1 and 2. Beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. It's a beauty of surrendering. It's a beauty of acknowledgement. It's a beauty of being in this, standing firm in this place of happiness and healthy righteousness and love, and not combative and strife and war and, all this violence. It's not that. So when we talk about the Psalm 91 and that safety, dwell in the shelter of the Most High. That is my answer to all questions. What did I do with this? How do I do this? What's the secret for this? Dwell in the shelter of the Most High. That's the answer right there. So I have to dwell in the shelter of the Most High. Let that be the solution. And sometimes you may not know what that means. What that means is to err on the side of kindness. Err on the side of kindness. Ultimately, when you err on the side of kindness, your answers to your questions will be revealed. So in verse 3, for righteousness will deliver I from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. and that righteousness will cover. Thank you for liking this channel. Subscribe, share, all of that. This is about love. Rafael Flores. It's about love and kindness. So we're seeking for what's above, not for what's below. Yes, bless. When we position ourselves in gratitude toward that righteousness, that's God, that goodness, and that shelter will overtake our lives. Exactly. Thank you for sharing that. So in verse 3, we see deliverance from pestilence. We see that we'll be covered with the pinions, and under the wings of the Most High, I will find safety. The Most High's faithfulness is a shield and buckler. Yes, indeed, a shield and buckler. And verse 5, you're not going to be afraid of the terror at night, nor the arrow that flies during the day. What do we mean by that? Arrows that fly during the day. During the day, you got, attacks. You're not going to be afraid of that. Nor the pestilence that stalks in darkness, nor the destruction that wastes at noonday. Because in order to build, you got to tear down to build back up. Rafael Flores, what is a 360? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to have to time you out. You want to be timed out? Be kind. So this Psalm, verse 5 and 6, verse 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the birthday of somebody very special in my life that passed away. March 4th, 1956. So we see in verse 3, 4, 5, and 6, we see this deliverance, this covering, this, unafraid. So then in verse 7, we see the destruction. We see 1,000 falling at your side, 10,000 at your right hand. This is happening, but it's not going to come near you. It's not going to come near you, because why? You dwelled in the shelter of the Most High. You abided in the shadow of the Almighty. You stayed in that place. And you spoke to righteousness, that is your safe place. You're going to err on that side. Yeah, you may joke around and you may be sarcastic. Some people throw shade, they call it. And you don't want to do that. I admit I've done that. In the pain and the hurt, you may do something that is not right, not good. So you want to stay in the good place. So that's where I'm going to stay on this day, that is when my mom gave birth to me, on this day. So even though these things are happening, it's not going to come near you. You're going to only look with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked, meaning you're going to see the people that were attacking you or that didn't, show you love or kindness will be rewarded. You will see that with your eyes. And it's specific. Verse 8 is like, you will only look with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked. That's serious. That is very serious. And why are you going to see that? Because verse 9 tells you why. You have made righteousness your dwelling place. In other words, you dwell in goodness. You're like, I'm going to stay here. You're not going to take me out of my good place to argue with me, to fuss, to cuss, to disagree, to, any of that. You're not taking me out of my good place. Some people speak about, people make them, curse. People make them do these things. People make them upset. People make them, no, you have to take accountability. Nobody is, unless you are to the point of being controlled and manipulated by someone else, and your emotions are in their hands. In other words, you're not an independent emotional intelligence. You are guided by someone else and how they feel, you feel. And that is a mistake, because then suppose they don't make you feel good, then your emotions are in a shambles. So we have to try our hardest to look at dwelling in the righteous place, dwelling in that goodness. When we go to rest and we're cuddling up with our pillow, we're holding that righteousness. We may call someone's name, whatever, but that ultimately is that goodness that we love, what we want to be next to, what we want to be around. We want to be around good people, right? People want good people. And that's what my little quote here on my tee said. We all want to be, understood, to be acknowledged, to be loved. So in verse 9 and 10, it's giving you the reason why you're going to be okay, because you've made righteousness your dwelling place, the Most High, that's your safe place. And verse 10 is like, no evil shall be allowed to come on you, none, because you're staying in that good place. Some examples of staying in that good place is during your day. If you're at the store, you're encountering other humans, and that social slice of the pies, you're interacting with other people. You want to interact in a righteous way, in a goodness, and in a mercy, and a compassion, and in a forgiveness. If somebody steps on your toe, you're in that forgiveness space. You're in that righteous, you're dwelling in that. Yes, you're making righteousness your dwelling place. So you're not going to violently attack the person for stepping on your toe. You're not going to do that. You're going to forgive. You might be the one even to say, oh, pardon me. And even though they might not speak the words, I'm sorry, I stepped on your toe, they might, not be kind. In other words, when you encounter unkindness, is because that person needs to see an example of what love and kindness is. And you're that example. You are that example. So when we look at dwelling in that space, you want to be in that space throughout your day, all day. If your flight is delayed, if your train is, held up, if you're in traffic, relax. Know that you are going to be okay, right? No evil shall be allowed to befall you. No plague is going to come near your dwelling place, your tent. Because verse 11 speaks specifically what righteousness is going to send. God is going to always send somebody to help you. So for righteousness will command righteousness's angels about you. Okay. Righteousness is going to command other, or all, going to command angels that are about righteousness about you. So when you're in a crowd and somebody helps you do something and then you turn around to tell them thank you and they're gone? That's an angel that came and helped you. And they don't stay around. They're free beings. They're free beings. Sometimes they are what people call single. They don't have relations with anyone. They're isolated, maybe, and they give thanks. They love the Lord. They love righteousness and all of what the Lord is about. That God Almighty power of kindness. It's not a passively kind. It's kind in a fullness. So we see in verse 11 that there's gonna be a commanding of angels keeping you in all your ways, and on their hands they're gonna bear you up, because you're not gonna strike your foot against a stone. You're gonna be the one to tread down on the beasts and the serpent under your foot. That's why I always tell my children, when they would go out, my children are grown children, but I always told them, when they left the house, walk good. Walk good. Better trample on all these serpents of wrongness, and you walk good, because there's gonna be that out there. In the book of Matthew said, the Most High is sending us out as sheep, among wolves. This is happening. So we have to err on the side of kindness. And somebody posted, abiding in his shadow only comes with obeying his word. Yes, the word is very powerful. Diligently following his spirit, that righteousness, making his will your soul's desire, your life's desire is to live in that space. Exactly. We must read and follow his word to make righteous our dwelling place. Yes, I definitely agree. Thanks for posting that. Like this channel, y'all. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel and get updates as to when I go live, because I chant the Psalm a day. It's an important part of my day, and I share it with you. When people in their prayer closet, you don't see them, right? And that's fine. People want to be private. I went public with this because my son passed. My son was only 32 years old, and he was found in a motel in Southern California, and identified with fingerprints, and identified as indigent, put in an indigent program, could not find next of kin, so he was placed there. And I didn't know until months later, calling around to find my son. So public, I have to go public with my Chant A Psalm. And some people don't like it. Some people, don't like me doing that, going public and talking about, but I'm going to talk about it because it's important for people to know that I'm not perfect. People always look at me. She thinks she's perfect. No, I'm not. I have pain and brokenheartedness. However, I know who heals that. There's a healer. There's a comforter that heals that. And I don't look like the pain I've gone through. I may not look like that, but it's real. It's real. So we see this deliverance, the commanding, angels about you. Whatever's going on with you, the righteousness is going to command these angels about whatever is going on with you. and to guard you in all your ways. So your ways are good. You're not popping off and cursing people out. That righteousness is going to guide you and guard you in all your ways. When people pop off and curse and yell and scream and attack verbally, abuse folks, put them down and all this kind of stuff, is because they're not sheltering in that space. They're in a different space. It's a trauma space that they have stayed in. Whatever trauma they have experienced, they haven't moved from it. So that's why you see there's an attack. There's an attack. There's, yelling, because they're still in that space. So once you move from that space, you're going to see the power of love that brings you to that knowledge to stand firm in that righteousness and not be afraid to do so. Because sometimes people think being kind is weak. It's not weak, it's actually a strength, because it allows for growth. It allows for self-reflection. It allows for a growth mindset where you're thinking of ways to give. Even in the sorrow and the pain, you're still giving thanks. You're going to be rewarded for that. Thank you so much for your words. Thank you for that. I received that. My son, his what happened to him is, I wouldn't want that to happen to anyone, any parent. No parent should have to call looking for their child and then finding out that they've been already, cremated, and here are their ashes. Goodbye. No mother should have to go through that. And going through something like that is hard, has been hard for me, but I've still had to keep living. I cannot stay in the trauma. I can't stay in that space of sadness, guilt, oh goodness, what did I do as a parent? That type of guilt. I can't stay in that space of, I don't want to live anymore because he's not here. I don't want to be in that space. So I have the will. I'm telling you, it's powerful. The will of love that is, God, Lord, Jesus, however you want to frame that. I look at that as so powerful in that I define it as an operational definition, because it operates in my life. My life is about those characteristics that come from a creator that made the heaven and the earth, that made the earth to stand on its axis. It just didn't metamorphosize out of, stardust. There was an intentionality behind the creation. So, it's okay if people don't believe, and that, we're not fighting people. We're not going to put people up to the firing squad if they don't believe in goodness and mercy and love. That's not the answer, to hurt people into the, place of the Most High. That's not the way to get people there, through fear and, threat. It talks about that. You will not fear the terror of the night, So in Sudan, we see that happening. People, so, armies are going in and executing people from different, tribes. And this needs to stop. We need to spread love in these areas. So we see in this Psalm 91, very powerful Psalm now. A lot of people look at this Psalm as, they get up and they they recite this psalm. This psalm is people, the older people. I know my great aunts and stuff, and my grandmother's sisters stuff. They Psalm 91 is what they said is you should speak. You should always chant that. I've memorized some of the psalms, but it's good to put this on your memorization list. So we see in verse 11 the commanding of these angels about you, and they're bearing you up. Your foot is not going to be struck against a stone. You're going to thread on you're going to thread down on these pestilence. And verse 14 is a quotation, because righteousness holds fast to me in love, I will deliver him. I will deliver you. So because righteousness holds fast to me in love, I will deliver, you. So, and that righteousness is you. Okay? Because you hold fast to righteousness in love, you will be delivered. So you're not going to be stressed. You're not going to be, in a state of living in that trauma. As I explained earlier, you can't look at me and see my trauma because I have held fast to righteousness. That's the Most High. That's, however you want to call that. I call that Karamawe, Papa Boje, I call that, there's many names to that one. And that one will deliver only when you hold fast to that one. It's like you're holding on to a lifeboat, right? You're in the water and you're holding on to this raft. You're not going to let go of the raft, right? You're going to hold on to this raft as hard as long as you can, hold fast to that. So, and you're going to be protected because your name is known. You holding fast to that, so that holding that steadfast, that's what we call the Most High long suffering as well. Because that one is gonna know you now, because you're hanging on there. It's like a puppy. The puppy is gonna keep coming at you. You're gonna know the puppy, right? The puppy's gonna know you because he's holding fast to you. He's right there. So holding fast to that righteousness in love now, in compassion and in mercy and in all kindness and long suffering and forgiveness, and all of those characteristics, you're going to be delivered. You're going to be protected. Your name is going to be known. He's going to know your name. When he calls to me, I will answer. So when you call to the Most High, you're going to get an answer. Because in Zechariah, it talks about when the folks went astray, and the Most High told Zechariah, they're going to call me, but I'm not going to listen, because they're not holding steadfast to me. They're violent. They're doing the wrong thing. They're in, all kinds of, strife. No, I'm not going to listen to them when they come calling me, needing help. So we have to hold fast, and we have to do it in love, because when we call now for help, we're going to be answered. And when we're in trouble, that one is going to be there. That righteousness is going to be there to help us, and we're going to rescue and going to honor. There's going to be honor shown to I, and because of being rescued by that righteousness and that grace. And you're going to be satisfied in verse 16 with long life, and you're going to be satisfied with long life, and you're going to be shown salvation. You're going to be shown a future. So you're not worrying about bills. You're not worrying about, what, you know, being housing insecure or homeless. You're not going to worry about that. You're going to be safe in a shelter and secured. You're not going to have to worry about car notes. You're going to buy your car right out. You're going to buy your house right out. You're going to, you're going to live in abundance, in other words, once you hold fast to God in love. And people hold fast to other people. They hold fast to other people. They want to own other people. They want to control other people. They want to fall in love. They want to fall so low for a person that they don't even know themselves anymore, and the things that they're doing to themselves and to others, they have no clue that they're doing it, because they've fallen so low. And falling in love is a myth. It's a fantasy of, I feel, of the world, because it's similar to the fallen angel that was in creation with the Most High and wanted the attention and wanted everyone to, chant to that instead of the righteousness, wanted to go into wrongness. And that one was cast out. That one was fell to the earth. Fell to the earth. And now is a deceiver on the earth, deceiving folks into falling too. Fall in love with me. We have stories of, children's stories of, prince this and princess and charming and coming and falling in love and all this stuff, instead of standing in love with God, holding fast. This is Psalm 91, verse 14. Okay? You're going to be saved when all these things happen. You're going to be okay because you hold steadfast to God in love, and you're going to be delivered. You're going to be protected. That one's going to know your name. He's going to know you. Remember, it said in verse 11, going to command the angels about you. So if the angels are going to be concerned about you and going to take care of you, what is the Most High going to? The Most High going to, of course, going to know your name, girl. So with long life, you're going to be satisfied, and you're going to be shown salvation. You're going to be shown that salvation. And that salvation is that future, right? That future. So we look at the, that's 91. Selah and Selah again. That was Psalm 91, everyone. Thank you for listening to Psalm 91. The verse of the day is brought to you by Matthew 6:33. And exactly what the psalm is talking about in verse 90, in Psalm 91, verse 14, holding fast to that love of God. Because Matthew talks about it too. Matthew says, look, but seek first and foremost, not a person. We're not going to be in love with a person, because when people in love with people, they do crazy things. They're not thinking straight. They want to control and own a person, and sometimes it turns into abuse, right? And it starts off with, oh, I like this attention, to the point where it gets extreme. Like, I want to know where you are 24/7. When you pee, poop, and whatever, like, no, come on. No. I remember a friend of mine said, you're going to have a hard time finding someone, because they're going to want to hold you, down. They're going to want to keep you where they want you. But you're a free spirit. And you have to travel the world. You have to be here. You are a vessel that is going to be used to you know, express a service and give something to humanity. And the person that I'm with, my partner, has to be able to support that and has to be able to put and seek for righteousness first, seek for God first. In other words, they have to have that relationship tight. They got to be like, I'm tight with you, Most High. So Matthew tells us, seek first the place of righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Similar to what Psalm 91 is talking about. Hold fast to that righteousness, to that love. You're going to be delivered. You're going to be satisfied with long life, right? You're going to be shown salvation, according to Matthew is speaking the same thing. All these things are going to be given to you. Just like what I just talked about. You're not going to have to worry about bills. You're not going to have to worry about car notes. You're going to have, when you get up, you're going to be like, which car should I take today? Which, coming down the stairs of your house, your garage is tightly fixed up into a little, cave, and you're living your best life. You're satisfied. You're going to be satisfied. Long life, I will satisfy. Not just long life, but you're going to have the satisfaction in that long life. And you're going to be shown salvation. You're going to be shown a future, in other words. And that future is what you make it, because you are holding fast to that steadfast. It's not going to pop out of the sky. You have to put it into action. I talked about this in my psalm yesterday from the book of Zechariah. They were just doing rituals and just not living the life of what they were supposed to live. They just would do the rituals and then go off into wrongness and thinking, the rituals are going to save them, or the temple outside is going to save them, the building. When it crumbled, they built it back up, and they were still in the same situation because they're not building themselves. That temple is within first. That you have to seek first, it says, the kingdom, and that righteousness. And where do you seek that? It's not outside, it's in you. You seek that. You look for that. Okay, how am I going to be good today? How am I going to, be kind today? What am I going to do? That's what you seek. So Matthew talks about that. Matthew 6, chapter 6, verse 33. What do you seek first? That's why people call Selassie first, the Trinity first. Selassie means power of the Trinity, that, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, that three. Okay, the power of that, the Amharic word is Selassie. So Selassie first. You seek that first. You seek the Father, you seek the Son, you seek the Holy Spirit. What is that? The Father is the Almighty. The Father has a blessed mother. They both now have a son. They got sons and daughters. And then they, are equipped with this Holy Spirit that is a sacred righteousness that's so pure and beautiful. It's a kindness. It's love in the utmost sense of the word. That's above. It's a higher love, in other words. Like, bring me a higher love. That higher love is that place where there's no sorrow. There's only dancing and joy and kindness. Okay? So we see that in the verse today, Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. And then let's see. I'm getting birthday greetings. People are texting my birthday greetings. So that was the verse today, Matthew 6. Go look at it. And then Psalm 91. See how you can find some similarities in those two scriptures. And then the word today is lighthearted. when I saw the word today, I was like, what? Lighthearted. So the word today is lighthearted. My heart is light and my life is calm and, harmonic, that you're creating a harmonic pattern. So lighthearted. Thank you so much. Yes, it's my birthday. I look at today as not my birthday. I couldn't have a birthday without my mother birthing me. And that birthing day is because of that. So if you're adopted, if your grandmother raised you, whoever it is that took care of you is your mother, and that one should be acknowledged. That's the one who, birthed you, maybe not physically, biologically, but birthed you in caring and upbringing, okay, and a significant role model in your life. So I honor my mom for today is my birthday. I honor her for birthing me, taking care of me, nourishing me, and giving me love and showing me how kindness and, love is expressed from a mother to a child. And still today, from a mother to a child, even though I'm, guess my age, put it in the comment, guess how old I am. I'm not going to say it. And I started this at 4 something. I haven't rested. I'm tired. You can see my eyes is red and tired, because I got up early, and getting up early, to celebrate my birthday is not just me. My son's birthday is today too. So I had to get up and, give him his birthday gift and everything like that. I'm glad he's off from work today and he's going to be celebrating. Yeah, it's it's a beautiful day today that the Lord has made. We're going to give thanks in this day. So lighthearted, my heart is light and my life is calm. This is the word today from dailyword.com. My experience of life depends on my attitude toward it. So elevate, your attitude. It brings you to an altitude. When my obligations and concerns are weighing heavily on me, I turn to the wise mind of my heart. Here, there is only calmness and love. When I commune with righteousness and talk to God, I feel a love flow from my heart throughout my body, my physical being, and my mind. Life affirming, positive feelings are a balm for my mind and being, soothing and comforting me. When I return to the activity of my daily life, I feel lighthearted. My concerns now pass through my mind as clouds in the sky. Life feels full of possibility, and I feel full of a future of love. Meeting life with a light heart keeps strengthens I and I rather, to keep I and I cares and worries in perspective. I return again and again to my heart's wisdom and carry my heart's wisdom into the world. So this is the word today, lighthearted. I really like that because it tells you stop taking things so seriously. When somebody, says something in a joking way, it might hurt you. And I do that, but we have to stop taking life so seriously, I guess. We have to be lighthearted. And this word today is brought to you by Proverbs chapter 15, verse 13. A glad heart makes a cheerful countenance. Countenance is your attitude. Countenance is, your expression, how your face is. So a person's face or facial expression is their countenance. So when we talk about make a glad heart makes a cheerful countenance, when your heart is glad, your face looks like that. You know, you're exerting a light. So a glad heart makes a cheerful countenance. That was the word today, lighthearted. And it's a good thing to be lighthearted because you're not weighed down with concerns and of that nature. So I'm glad for this because I need to be lighthearted. Um, I need to, be, relaxed and not taking things so seriously. People make mistakes, and forgiveness is where I'm going to stay in. I'm going to stay in that forgiveness space. So I'm not, holding concerns, but releasing those and having a glad heart is going to make this face of mine cheerful, especially today as I celebrate the Ethiopian Maskal. In Ethiopia, today is also a very important day. It's the finding of the true cross that Jesus was crucified on, and they found it in Ethiopia. And the Ark of the Covenant is been known to be located in St. Mary's, church in Ethiopia. So Ethiopia, and then the first, they found the oldest bones of a person in Ethiopia. They named it Lucy, and so Ethiopia has some significance to humans, everybody. It doesn't matter what race, color, nationality. It has significance to everybody. So I celebrate that. I'm on that calendar. It's a 13-month calendar. And September 11th was the new year. And today is the Maskal, September 27th. And this is an important celebration. And I love the fact that, I can elevate my attitude towards that, and not be stuck in the colonial and capitalist regime of white supremacy that perpetuates holidays for consumerism. So we have Halloween coming up, we have Thanksgiving, and we have Christmas, and every year you do these same things, and you're following these things that are very recently created. So I look at more of the ancient teachings because those teachings are the foundation of elevation and the foundation of becoming knowledgeable about yourself in your journey and why you may be sad about this or why you're having, this situation happen. So, with my son, passed, the following year in July, this year, my dad passed. And seeing my dad on the ground, deceased, was the hardest thing ever in my life, besides my son and hearing, that. So in Proverbs 15:13, my heart has to be glad. My heart is, who heals the brokenhearted is the Most High. And my heart is be healed where it's glad and it's making my face cheerful, a cheerful countenance. Okay. So Selah and Selah again for the Psalm today. Psalm 91. We had the verse today coming from Matthew chapter 6, verse 33 was the verse today. And then we had the word today brought to you by Proverbs 15:13. So I'm thankful for that. I have my Max Lucado's word of the day, as well as my Bible reading for today coming out of Zechariah. We were in that book. So I will have to get that. I have it in my bag. However, we're going to end now. We're going to have a blessed day. Safe travels to everyone out there who's traveling and on their journey. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. And I will see you next time for Chant A Psalm A. Beautiful. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day, everyone. Take care. Thank you so much for joining Chant A Psalm A. I love having you all join us. Thank you, Steel Pulse. I don't have copyright to this music. This is Steel Pulse from their album True Democracy. Have a blessed day, everyone.